Okay, this simulation that we'll set up now will be to model the flipping of two coins and seeing how often they come up with both heads, both tails, or a combination of the two. So it'll be a slightly different technique that we're going to use in this clip, but it should certainly be nothing that's too complicated for the kids. Same start. We'll count our throws. And we will go down as before. We'll do 10 just to make sure it's working, and then extend to 1,000 from there. So rand between only generates numbers. So this time what we'll do is we'll embed the number into an if function. We'll generate either a 0 or a 1 from rand between, and if it comes out to be a 0, we'll relate it to heads, and if it comes out as a 1, we'll relate it to tails. So this is what the formula will look like. It's in part of an if function, so we're testing the outcome. So if the outcome from generating a random 0 or a random 1 equals 0, so there's the condition that we're testing. After that we put a comma, and after the comma we're going to tell it what to do if that is true. So if that is true, we will say put a H in that cell, and then another comma, and then what happens if it's false? Well, if it's not a 0, we're saying it's going to be a tail. Close the bracket. So what this is saying is if the outcome of that random generator of 0 or 1s comes out to be a 0, then a H goes in the cell, otherwise a T goes into the cell for tails. So that's the first coin. And then we want exactly the same condition in the second coin. So we could type that again, or we could just copy that formula across, because it's not related to any cell. We can just fill that across. So you could copy and paste, or go to fill and fill right, and that will give us those. And then the outcome of that, I want the outcome to be the outcome of coin 1 combined with the outcome of coin 2. And the combine, the way we do that in Excel is to use the AND symbol. So in here I'm going to say that the outcome is equal to that content and that content. So that comes out to be HH. So if we now fill that down for 10 throws, you can see the combined outcomes there. Let's just put our little rethrow button on there just to make sure that that continues to generate. So we're going to go to Developer, Insert, Form Controls, draw our little box, call that Rethrow, New, Calculate, name button 1, throw again, or reflip. So now every time I click that, it repeats the experiment 10 times. I'm going to do what I've done with all the others. I want my experiment or my simulation to take place over a greater number of throws, so I'm going to go down to 1,000. So first of all, drag this one down so I know when I've gone for 1,000 throws. And then fill down the other columns. So that's my repeated experiment. Now I'm going to want to tabulate that to see how frequent the different outcomes are. So outcome frequency. So the possible outcomes are heads heads, heads tails, tails heads, tails tails. I want to define my range that I'm searching in. So I'm holding the shift button down to highlight that, and that's what I'm going to call the outcome. So I am going to count if outcome comma equals, and this cell is I2. Throw that down. So that's equal to HH. That one's equal to I3, which is HT, I4, TH, and TT. So those are the outcomes tabulated. Now this time we might not want to put that as a bar chart. We might just be interested in the proportion of outcomes. So in which case we'd highlight that, go to insert, and this time we'd insert a pie chart. And because we've separated heads, tails, and tails, heads as two distinct outcomes, then you would expect those to be equally likely, and you would expect your pie chart to look just like that. If you click on the pie chart and right click, we can add data labels and data callouts, which will show you there. What it hasn't done is linked the HH, HT, TH, and TT. So we can do that by selecting the data. So I've right clicked in there, selected the data, and the category axis labels we're going to edit, and we're going to drag those down like that. And I've included the outcome in that, so it's a little mistake. Select data, edit, so there you can see HH 26%, it's the highest one there, and then every time you re-flip the coins you will see that those will change slightly, but you're making the case to the kids that over 1,000 throws of the dice there is very little difference. It's pretty reliable. So there you go. So that's simulating the flipping of a pair of coins 1,000 times.